Wonderful. You know, Jessica, I do love this conference. There's nothing that I enjoy more, in fact, than going back and revisiting prior conferences and having a, if you will, a time machine.
That would
So,
be awesome.
yeah, right?
That'd be great.
That would
So
be-
up next,
That'd be
Fantastic.
great.
Alfie, could you tell us something about
You know what?
possibilities
I've
for
got
doing
just
that?
the thing for you, Daniel Margulies.
There we go.
So yeah, I'm going to try and match that energy. That was fantastic, but we'll see if I can even do 20% of that. Yes, thank you all very much for coming. I'm going to, everyone loves a little bit of audience participation, so I have a couple of questions. First of all, how many of you wanted to go to a session this week, but there was another session that you wanted to go to, and you had to pick one, and then you couldn't go to, yeah, okay. That's like at least half of the room. Okay, fantastic. I have a tool for you. How many of you have missed an annual meeting because you couldn't travel, or you didn't have the funding, or it's too far away, or any reason whatsoever? Yeah, okay, awesome. I have a tool for you too. And the final question, let's say, how many of you know that OHBM has their own YouTube channel? Okay, good. So there's like a whole bunch of you who are going to learn an awful lot from this, which is fantastic. So I would like to talk to you about the OHBM Time Machine project. This is a collaboration really between the Communications Committee, of which this year I have been chair, the Program Committee, and the Education Committee. Is it this button I press? Oh yes, there we go. Does this translate? Does anyone know? Does everyone know what this is? I'm British, so it makes sense to me. But does anyone not know what that is? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Good. I'm just checking. Good. Okay. So, OHBM, as many of you in this room are probably already aware, has really been a pioneer for open sharing of data, of resources, as this symposium really exemplifies. Even to the point of in 2001, people from OHBM published a paper on open sharing of data, but they didn't necessarily even have all the resources to be able to do what they wanted to do with it that we now have. So it started in 1995, the annual meetings, and since 2015, recordings from the annual meetings have actually been made available online through this on-demand platform. How many of you know that this exists? A few of you. Okay, so this exists now. If you, as paying members of OHBM, you guys can log into this on-demand system, and you can find almost all of the talks, symposia, educational courses, keynotes, roundtables on this system, and you can review them. And if you missed a talk, you can go and see that, which is an amazing resource. However, under the ethos of OHBM being a champion for open sharing, we found that limiting access to only paying members of OHBM was somewhat contrary to that ethos. So not only does it mean that people who have never been or are never interested in being a member of OHBM, such as members of the public who are not researchers, cannot access our groundbreaking research. But also, if you skip a year, if you can't travel to the annual meeting and you don't renew your membership for a given year, you then lose access to all these tools. So, introducing the OHBM Time Machine. Essentially, if you're going to take anything away from this talk, is that all of the annual meeting content going back to 2015 is now available on YouTube. We've transferred everything from on-demand onto YouTube between 2015 and 2024. If you scan the QR code, that'll take you straight there. It'll take you to this page where you can see we've organized everything into... does this work? Okay, actually, no, it was on this. Anyway, yes, so we've organized it all into educational courses, roundtables, all the different talk types, going all the way back to 2015. So it's all there. Just a very brief explanation of what sort of work this took. Everything was on the on-demand system. In order to download it and re-upload it to YouTube, you had to go onto the on-demand website, go into the settings, scroll down a bit, hit a button that says toggle to downloadable, and then download it, organize it, and then re-upload it. So I quit my job and I started doing this, and no, I'm only kidding. I wrote a bot which, just using this Selenium tool, which goes through the whole thing, does all that automatically, and put it into an Excel sheet using the Google API. I could then upload that en masse at a rate of about 100 or 200 videos a day, which has taken a very long time to actually get everything uploaded, but everything as of about 2 weeks ago is now there. So at the beginning of this project, the OHBM YouTube channel was used primarily for things like the Neurosalience podcast. If you don't know that exists, OHBM has a podcast, and it's fantastic. You should watch it. So all the videos of that are on there, and then we had here and there we had a few little video series on the OHBM YouTube channel. Had about maybe 900, 1,100 subscribers or so. Since we started this project, we've more than doubled, almost tripled the number of subscribers on there. The total we have over 135,000 views, and in total the Time Machine videos were now form up to about 1,700 plus videos on the OHBM YouTube channel. In terms of demographics, it's mostly people 25 to 34 years old, and there is a significant sex bias in the or gender bias, I guess, in the YouTube viewership. OHBM, it's a little bit difficult to get statistics. I tried to get some statistics on the OHBM membership to compare it against. It's a little bit tricky because the OHBM membership varies so much year by year depending on where the annual meeting is. I think there is a slight male bias, but it's not this significant at all in OHBM. There is also a slight bias in just general YouTube viewership, although it's very dependent on sort of which genre of YouTube videos you're looking at. So you know, it's an observation. It's something that we definitely look to address to try to even out a little bit going forward. Similarly, with the geographic distribution, we do have a somewhat of a global distribution, although it is very US-centric. Also a lot in Canada, but also India is a very large proportion of our viewership as well. But then also, you know, Australia and Europe as well form a large part of the viewership as well. So we'd like to, you know, see this continue to expand across the globe as well, which this project really ought to let us do. Just a couple of quick stats on the project. So incidentally, so we've written a paper on this. I'll link it at the end. And so this was when we only had the 2022 to 2024 videos online. So we've done a more in-depth comparison or investigation analysis of those years. So it's about 300 videos per year from those. And in terms of views per year, as one might expect, the keynote interviews, or keynote lectures, I should say, they get proportionally slightly more views, as do the educational courses. And then the symposia, the oral sessions, and the roundtables also get 40-odd views for every single one, which, given the number of videos that are uploaded, is quite a significant number of views. And as a point of comparison, the 2022 videos were so 2023 and 2024 were not actually ever on demand. Because this project was already sort of underway. So as a comparison point, we compared the 2022 videos, so exactly the same videos on demand and YouTube. There was about 8 views per video on demand, whereas on YouTube, at the time of doing this analysis and this comparison, it was about quadruple that. So already it's accessing more people are watching these videos, and it's having an impact, and these numbers are actually already higher now since even making this presentation. And also, yeah, so you can see as and when we upload the videos, I uploaded them in bulk and started this last May-ish. Uploaded all of 2023, then I went back to 2022, and then everything in 2024 was uploaded, and you can see this huge spike in viewers as we uploaded them, but also critically this increased baseline of viewership on the OHBM YouTube channel in general, as this is just a larger resource available that people can access and use. And one of the main things for us that we wanted to do was really just to let people aware that this is a resource. So that's really what this talk is for. As I say, this is going to have hopefully many, many benefits. It increases the accessibility of the annual meeting, which is sort of two things really. It increases the accessibility to people who are unable to be present for whatever reason, but also it increases the accessibility more broadly to members of the public, to perhaps journalists who want to reach experts on certain topics. We'll be able to reach the right people more easily. There's no cost to YouTube as well. On demand was costing approximately $12,000 a year and increasing, and we had to archive old content because we couldn't even have all of the past content on there at a time. There were storage limits. We don't have that problem with YouTube. Also, it allows us to look back at all of the annual meeting content and compare what were we talking about at different times. How do ideas develop over time? We can actually do sort of qualitative analyses of that. There are some limitations. YouTube is mostly global, but not completely global. And so there is no single system that can reach absolutely everyone in the world, but this is as close as we can get with a single system. We do have to remain a bit flexible. Platforms do change over time. See what happened to when the little blue bird died and turned into a black cross. It does require resources to manage, so as part of the communications committee, I've been very involved with this over the past year, but we will, we'll need volunteers to help keep this going. I've tried to develop streamlines and guidelines that will streamline it as much as possible in the future. And it should be something you guys could be aware of if you're presenting. Just be aware of like sensitive materials that you are presenting. You can always let us know if you don't want your video, and we'll take it down. That's fine. But just be aware that this thing is going to be more publicly available. We think it'll just benefit the annual meeting. We don't see it having a detrimental effect on the annual meeting at all. As I say, that these videos are already available to members anyway, and people very much are still coming and enjoying the annual meeting. And it may even shift the annual meeting to being more about active learning rather than passive lectures. Also, we can use the YouTube channel to become a platform for year-round content as well, not just for hosting annual meeting content or the podcast, but also we could do mini conferences around the year, or perhaps webinars. We could host video abstracts for Aperture Neuro. Any ideas are sort of open if we just increase the impact of the YouTube channel. So that's everything. I really want to thank Kevin, Sophie, and Steph Forkel, who were instrumental in setting this up. As well as Beth and Christine at the executive office, as well as various people who helped out with the project. This is a paper that we have. It's not actually published in Aperture yet. This was from the proof, but it should be within the next few days. And I'm presenting a poster on it today, but also tomorrow, so you don't need a time machine for that. The preprint is on this QR code. Thanks.
Okay, so we have a question here in the app. So have you thought about the effects of YouTube's ads on the OHBM Time Machine project? So for example, YouTube interrupting the video with an auto-inserted ad, etc.?
Oh, yeah, well, okay, so we thought about ads sort of from a positive standpoint in that, if once the channel continues to grow, we'd have to think quite carefully about the revenue that comes from that, whether we can like funnel that into OHBM and support things. In terms of it being disruptive, that's kind of not something that we have control over. That's kind of just a feature of YouTube. I don't think most talks are relatively short, so they shouldn't have interrupting ads too often throughout the center of them. But they may have a pre-roll ad that, if anything, it could just generate a bit of revenue for the organization.
Please go ahead.
I just wanted to ask if, along with videos, other artifacts from past conferences, for example, abstract text, attendee lists, poster abstracts, linked documents, might also be made available. Like those are just so, like in our current age, so text mineable. And putting things in a structure that's easier to crawl. I'm just curious, like if that would be a nice sort of like accessory project to this.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's all about resources that we've had over the past year to actually set these things up. But that is, like, a lot of the program booklets are now available online for that sort of thing. For the pandemic year conferences, some of the abstracts were in the descriptions, and I was able to upload those into the descriptions of the YouTube videos. So going forward, we can also streamline these pipelines and make sure that when you upload your talk, the abstract is there. Maybe we can integrate that into the framework and make sure that's in the YouTube description as well, which it is for some talks, but not for all talks at the moment. But yes, that's exactly what we want to do.
Okay, so another question here is, do you have backups to ensure the knowledge is saved if the platform has to change?
Good question. Yeah, I think the executive office have everything on stored properly. I haven't deleted anything at all. So yes.
Okay, and then I have a question as well. So when could we expect to see this talk?
Yeah, great question. Over the next couple of months, 2025 content will be available. We have to work out the logistics with the annual meeting host and get those videos to executive office, and then hopefully this is going to be the test of streamlining all my scripts and pipelines and guidelines to get things uploaded relatively timely.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much.
All right.